Let me guess. You're reading their active 2 hours ago status for the 15th time today, aren't you? We've all been there. That moment when you realize you've sent 7 texts in a row and they've sent 0. You know that sinking feeling? When you catch yourself checking if they've watched your story, liked someone else's photo, or worse, when they're online but haven't replied to you. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Your clinginess isn't about love, it's about fear. And that fear? It's turning you into a relationship detective who'd put Sherlock Holmes to shame. You're analyzing response times, counting emoji usage, and creating spreadsheets of their social media activity. Okay, maybe not actual spreadsheets, but mental ones definitely count. The real kicker, the tighter you squeeze, the more they slip through your fingers. It's like trying to hold water in your fist. The harder you grip, the faster it escapes. Your constant checking, double texting, and need for reassurance isn't bringing them closer. It's building an invisible wall between you. But here's the breakthrough moment. Recognizing these patterns is your first superpower. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that awareness? That's where your transformation begins. Chapter 1. The Anxiety Spiral. 3 dots appear and disappear. And suddenly you're planning your own funeral because, clearly, they're crafting a breakup text. Sound familiar? That text anxiety spiral where 2 minutes feels like 2 hours. And your brain creates 17 different disaster scenarios. First, they're typing. Then they stop. Were they writing something mean? Did they change their mind? Are they talking to someone else? Your mind becomes a conspiracy theorist. And every delayed response is evidence of betrayal. Here's the pattern. You send a text. They don't respond immediately. Your chest tightens. You check if they've been online. They have. Panic sets in. You send another text, something casual like, "Hello? Or you there?" But inside, you're screaming. Then comes the flood. 3 more texts explaining, apologizing, or worse, getting angry about their silence. But what if I told you that most people aren't ignoring you? They're just living their life. Revolutionary concept, right? Sometimes they're driving. Sometimes they're working. Sometimes they saw your text and thought, "I'll reply when I can give this proper attention." Which is actually a good thing. The truth that'll set you free. Their response time has nothing to do with their feelings for you. Nothing. 0. Your anxiety is lying to you, and it's time to call its bluff. Chapter 2. Attachment 101. Your brain is running software written when you were 5 years old, and it's time for an update. Welcome to attachment theory. Basically, it's why some of us turn into human Velcro in relationships. If the adults in your life were unpredictable when you were little, your brain learned that love comes and goes without warning. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it vanishes. So what does little you do? You become hyper-aware of every little sign. You become an emotional weather forecaster, constantly checking for storms. This is where it gets wild. Your grown-up brain still runs this old program from childhood. When someone doesn't text back, your body doesn't think they're busy. It thinks, "I'm being abandoned," and hits the panic button. Your whole system floods with stress. Like you're in actual danger, except the danger is just an unanswered text. Here's the mind-blowing part. When you feel rejected, your brain reacts the same way it does to physical pain. That's why rejection literally hurts. Your brain can't tell the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart. Both feel like danger, in the exact same way. But here's the liberation truth. These patterns aren't permanent. They're just habits. And habits can be changed. Your brain can actually rewire itself. Every time you calm yourself down instead of spiraling, you're literally creating new pathways in your brain. You're updating that old childhood programming, one moment at a time. Chapter 3. The Childhood Connection. That little kid inside you is still waiting by the door, wondering if love is coming home today. Let's talk about why your adult self turns into a clingy koala. Somewhere in your past, love felt uncertain. Maybe a parent was emotionally unavailable. Maybe affection came with conditions. Maybe someone important left. And nobody explained why. Your child brain made a decision. If I just hold on tight enough, they won't leave. Fast forward to now. Your partner takes a few hours to respond. And suddenly, you're not a grown adult with a job and responsibilities. You're that scared kid again. Your inner child takes the wheel and starts driving your relationship straight into anxiety town. Population. You, frantically refreshing your messages. But here's what that scared little kid doesn't know. You're not powerless anymore. You have resources that child didn't have. You can self-soothe. You can rationalize. You can recognize that someone needing space isn't them leaving forever. It's just space. The healing secret? You need to become the parent that inner child needed. When anxiety rises, instead of reaching for your phone, reach inward. Tell that scared part of you, it's okay. We're safe. Love isn't leaving. And even if it does, we'll survive. Because you already have. Look at you, watching this, growing, healing. That little kid would be so proud. Chapter 4. Breaking the checking cycle. You check their last scene like it's the weather forecast. Except this forecast only predicts emotional storms. The checking cycle is like a slot machine for anxiety. Pull the lever. Refresh their profile. And maybe you'll win. They're thinking of you. Or maybe you'll lose. They're online but ignoring you. Either way, your brain gets addicted to the rush. Check Instagram. They posted a story. Check WhatsApp. Online 5 minutes ago. You've become a digital private investigator, and your only case is driving yourself crazy. Here's the pattern exposed. Anxiety rises. You check. Temporary relief. Anxiety returns stronger. You check again. It's like scratching a mosquito bite. Feels good for 2 seconds, then itches worse than before. Your brain starts craving the next check. The next hit of information that might soothe your fears. But what if you treated your phone like a recovering addict treats their trigger? That means boundaries, baby. Turn off read receipts. Disable last seen. Remove the apps from your home screen. Make checking harder than not checking. Your anxiety will throw a tantrum at first. Let it. Like a toddler in a toy store. It'll scream louder before it gives up. The freedom formula. Every time you don't check, you're building trust in yourself. Not trust that they'll text back. Trust that you'll be okay either way. That's the real relationship that needs work. The one with yourself. Chapter 5. The Independence Paradox. Here's the relationship plot twist nobody expects. The more complete you are alone, the better you are together. Think about it. When you're desperately clinging, what energy are you bringing? Neediness, fear, desperation. It's like showing up to a potluck with an empty plate, hoping everyone else feeds you. But when you're genuinely okay on your own, you become a choice, not a necessity. And that changes everything. Independence isn't about not needing anyone. It's about being a whole person who chooses to share their life, not someone with a person-shaped hole they're desperately trying to fill. When you have your own hobbies, friends, and purpose, you bring richness to the relationship, instead of emptiness that needs constant filling. Watch what happens when you stop making them your only source of happiness. Suddenly, they're not responsible for your entire emotional state. The pressure lifts. They can have a bad day without you spiraling. They can need space without you panicking. They can be human without you catastrophizing. The magnetic truth. People are drawn to those who want them, not need them. When you're genuinely enjoying your life, you become genuinely enjoyable to be around. It's not playing hard to get. It's being hard to forget, because you're so damn interesting, on your own. Want to level up your people skills? Join our YouTube membership for early access to scripts, input on future topics, and connection with a community that gets the social struggle. Click join below, and let's master human interaction together. Chapter 6. Boundary Bootcamp. Boundaries aren't walls that keep love out. They're the gates that let healthy love in. Let's destroy the biggest boundary myth right now. Having boundaries doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to build something sustainable. It's like saying, I respect both of us too much to let this turn toxic. Without boundaries, relationships become like gardens without fences. Everything gets trampled, including the flowers. Here's your boundary starter pack. You don't need to respond to texts immediately. You're allowed to have plans that don't include them. Your emotions are yours to manage, not theirs to fix. Their mood is not your emergency. Let that sink in. Their bad day doesn't require you to drop everything. Their silence doesn't demand your investigation. But what if they think I don't care? Here's the thing. If someone interprets healthy boundaries as not caring, they're telling you they prefer unhealthy dynamics. And that's information you need. Real love celebrates your independence. Toxic attachment resents it. The boundary breakthrough. Start small and watch the magic happen. Don't check their social media for one day. Wait an hour before responding to non-urgent texts. Make plans with friends and keep them. Each boundary you set is a vote for the relationship you actually want. One built on respect, not desperation. Chapter 7. Self-Soothing Superpowers. Your phone is not an emotional support animal, and it's time to learn to comfort yourself. When anxiety hits, your first instinct is to reach out. Text them, call them, get reassurance that everything's okay. But that's like using someone else as your emotional life jacket. What happens when they're not available? You drown in your own feelings. It's time to learn to swim. Self-soothing starts with the body. When panic rises, your breathing gets shallow. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts race. So you go physical first. Deep breath in for 4 counts. Hold for 4, out for 6. Your breath is the remote control for your nervous system. 3 of these breaths, and your body starts believing you're safe. Next comes the mind game. That voice saying, they're probably with someone else, or they're losing interest. Challenge it like a lawyer. Where's the evidence? What else could be true? Would you convict someone based on this flimsy case? Your anxiety is a terrible detective. It sees clues that aren't there and ignores obvious explanations. The Self-Soothing Summit. You are your own safe space. When you can calm your own storms, you stop making other people responsible for your weather. You become the person who can say, I'm okay, and actually mean it. And that's the sexiest thing you can bring to any relationship. Chapter 8. The Secure Communication Code. Stop communicating like you're defusing a bomb, and start talking like you trust each other. Clingy communication sounds like this. Are we okay? You seem distant. Did I do something wrong? Why aren't you texting back? Do you still love me? It's interrogation disguised as conversation. You're not actually communicating. You're seeking constant validation. It's exhausting for everyone involved. Secure communication is different. It states needs without demanding. I'd love to hear from you when you get a chance. Versus, why are you ignoring me? See the difference? One creates space, the other creates pressure. One trusts, the other accuses. One connects, the other pushes away. Here's the communication golden rule. Share your feelings, not your fears. Instead of, "You're probably going to leave me," try, "I'm feeling insecure today." Instead of 20 texts asking where they are, try, "Hope you're having a good day." You're still being honest, but you're owning your emotions, instead of making them someone else's problem. The secure secret. Questions create distance. Statements create connection. Stop the interrogation. Start the conversation. Share what's actually happening for you, without making them responsible for fixing it. Watch how differently they respond when you're not backing them into an emotional corner. Chapter 9. Trust Building Blueprint. Trust isn't built by checking their phone. It's built by not needing to. Here's the trust paradox that'll rewire your brain. The more you verify, the less you trust. Every time you check their location, scroll their likes, or analyze their stories, you're telling yourself, they can't be trusted. You're training your brain to look for threats. You become what you practice. And you're practicing suspicion. Real trust building starts with a radical decision, choosing to believe the best, until proven otherwise. Not blind trust, conscious trust. When they say they're tired, believe them, instead of thinking they're tired of you. When they need space, trust it's about them, not about you. Give them the benefit of the doubt that you'd want for yourself. But here's the advanced move. Trust yourself first. Trust that you can handle disappointment if it comes. Trust that you'll know if something's really wrong. Trust that you're strong enough to leave if you need to. When you trust yourself, trusting others becomes less scary, because you know you've got your own back. The trust transformation. Every time you choose trust over checking, you're building a new neural pathway. You're literally rewiring your brain for security. It feels uncomfortable at first, like using your non-dominant hand. But keep practicing, and soon trust becomes your default setting, not suspicion. Chapter 10. The Solo Journey. You can't find yourself in someone else's eyes. You have to look in the mirror. Here's what nobody tells you about healing clinginess. It's not really about relationships. It's about your relationship with yourself. When you're desperately clinging to someone else, you're usually running from being alone with you. But what if you're actually pretty great company? The solo journey starts with dating yourself. Yes, really. Take yourself to dinner. Go to that movie alone. Spend Saturday morning doing exactly what you want, without checking if someone else approves. Discover who you are when nobody's watching. You might surprise yourself. Build a life so full that a relationship is the cherry on top, not the whole sundae. Develop hobbies that light you up. Cultivate friendships that feed your soul. Chase goals that excite you. When your life is rich, you stop trying to steal richness from others. The solo secret, the relationship with yourself, sets the standard for every other relationship. When you genuinely enjoy your own company, you stop accepting crumbs from others. When you know your worth solo, you stop negotiating it in partnership. When you're whole alone, you stop looking for someone to complete you because you already are. Welcome to the other side, where love feels like freedom, not prison. This is what secure love looks like. You can go hours without texting and feel perfectly fine. Their phone can die, and you don't panic. They can have a night with friends, and you're genuinely happy for them. You share your lives without losing yourselves. It's not that you care less, you just fear less. In secure love, space creates closeness. Time apart makes reunions sweeter. Independence makes interdependence possible. You're two whole people choosing each other daily, not two halves desperately trying to make a whole. You want them, but don't need them. And that difference transforms the entire dynamic. The lifestyle shift is complete when checking becomes choosing. Instead of compulsively checking their activity, you consciously choose connection. Instead of demanding constant reassurance, you offer consistent presence. Instead of taking emotional temperature every hour, you trust the climate of your relationship. Here's your graduation moment. You're not clingy. You never were. You were just scared, and fear made you grab too tight. But now you know, love isn't something you grip. It's something you grow. Not by holding tighter, but by letting go, enough to let it breathe. And when love can breathe, that's when it truly comes alive. The secure love lifestyle isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. Some days you'll slip back into old patterns. That's okay. Progress isn't perfection. It's just being a little more secure than yesterday. And look at you now. 10 chapters later, already transformed. You've got this. You always did. Learned something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments.